Hi everybody, my name is Paul Hebert. Today's topic is Windows 7 tips and tricks, so kick back and enjoy the video. The first shortcut I want to show you is basically if you press on the Windows button on your keyboard, you'll open up the Start menu. So that one is pretty straightforward. So you can close that by hitting the Escape key or clicking anywhere on the screen. So I'll do that again. Click on the Windows key and it pops it open. So if you're like me, where you're old school and you like to do a combination of keyboard strokes and mouse clicks and stuff, it's a neat little feature. And you can click, if you press the Windows button again, it actually closes. So that's one of them. If you're in trouble or you're trying to figure out how to do a certain task in Windows, there's a useful help menu system. So what you can do to get that really quickly in terms of a shortcut approach is hold down the Windows key and press the F1 button. And there you go. So this is really neat too, because when I last used it, I actually snapped it to the half screen, but you can resize this window as you like. But what's neat about it is, for example, if I want to do a video or talk about videos, I just type in the word video in the search menu or search field, sorry, click enter, and then I'll get a very wide range of topics having to do with video. But you know what? That's what you want. You want to be able to find things really quickly. So let's say create video, and then you'll get a series of responses for that. So let's see. I want to add a printer. And the key with these is, and Microsoft has done a really good job in the past few years, is you can type in your question in plain English. So whether you're working in Word or Excel and you have something you need to search for, press F1 and then just type in your question in plain English, and then the software will figure out what you're trying to do and give you a bunch of suggestions as potential topics that will answer your question. So if I type in add printer, hit enter, and here we have the results. So I wanted to add a printer, and the very first one is install a printer. So I'll go ahead and click on that. And if you had the time and the patience that I don't have, you could read all this, but essentially there's a link here that says to add or install and add a local printer, which is probably what you want to do. So you go ahead and click on that, and it'll open up the next section. And these green arrow and hot links here are really a big plus in Windows, because instead of reading the text and saying, okay, I'll have to click here and click add printer, you just click on it and it'll open up the section of the control panel it's referring to. In this case, the printer and device section. So I'm just going to grab this guy, use that handy snap feature there and put that half screen. And now I can actually follow along. So the first part was click the add printer button. So this up here, click the add printer, and now we get the wizard. So the next thing would be add a local printer, and then I get to pick the features and do the selections as I want as I go. So I'm not going to go through adding the actual printer because not the topic for today, but you kind of get the drift in terms of how this help menu works. If I type search for the word email, I get a result set, and I can read that as well. So that's a neat little shortcut. So that was Windows and then the F1 key. Oh, that's not going to close it. There we go. All right. So another neat feature is and this is from probably the very first version of Windows, I can't exactly recall, but is the Alt-Tab combination. So if you hold down the Alt key and press Tab, you get this nice little navigator here. And basically what this does is it shows you, if you keep the Alt key down and you alternate tabbing or pressing the Tab key, you will see your applications kind of scroll through and as a selection here. So the blue one here is selected, and I can click on it, I can scroll on it, and I can also just tab through and bring that window or application into the forefront. But another neat feature along those lines is if you hold down the Windows key and the tab, and then you get this fancy schmancy feature here. So this is basically the Windows arrow feature, and it came to light probably early in the development stage of Windows Vista. and it's got some appeal. I mean, I have to admit it's a pretty slick feature. It's kind of graphic intensive. The neat thing about it, though, if your vision is starting to go as you're getting older, like I am, it's a better selection than doing Alt Tab, because Alt Tab is all the little small icons, whereas Windows Tab is, quite bigger. And then when you've brought the one that you want to the forefront, so in my case, I'll scroll to the desktop here, let go, and then it just brings me back to the desktop. So that's a really neat feature. Let's see, we've got Alt F4. Alt F4 is a nice one too. It's kind of like a housekeeping one. So I'm going to open up a couple of programs here. So Alt F4 will actually close an existing program that's open. So I'm just going to make a change to this one. So this is my active application. If I do Alt and F4, it'll actually close the application or run the file exit feature or function of that application. In this case, because I made a change, it's asking me if I want to save the document or don't save. In this case, I'm going to ignore all that and just hit cancel. But that's a neat feature, because if I'm in a hurry and I want to close all my applications, I can just hold down Alt and F4 and then don't save, it's closed. Close Excel, close Camtasia, and keep going. So that's kind of neat, and I use it quite a bit. Another feature that a lot of people don't use or don't recognize that exists is this thing called permanent delete. So I'm just going to make a copy of this file here. So the permanent delete is basically a combination of holding down the Shift key and hitting delete. There's a couple of ways we can do that. I can hit delete right on my keyboard, and it'll tell me to confirm that I want to permanently delete this file. And what would normally happen if I just hit the delete function, it would actually send the document to the recycle bin over here. In my case, by holding down the Shift key, it actually bypasses the recycle bin and will actually delete the key. Delete the file. There are tools and software to recover deleted items, but for the sake of this exercise, we're going to assume that if I click yes, that document is gone and I can't get it back. It's no longer using space on my hard drive, I guess you could say. And that's a feature that works in your email program as well. If you were to highlight an item, hold down the Shift key and click delete, you will definitely and permanently delete that item, which is not a bad thing sometimes. So that's the Shift delete function, and that's a very useful one. Another great feature is the minimize all feature. So I'm going to open up a couple of windows here. I'm going to run Excel, and so I've got this big mess of applications on my desktop. If I hold down the Windows key and the M, I just minimize everything really quickly, and they all stack up nicely at the bottom here. Let's do that again. So we got two windows here, Windows M, and they're all minimized. So kind of like a same thing as using the desktop key that I showed you earlier down here, or the desktop show desktop button. Kind of the same thing. Another very useful key combination that I like to use is how to get into the browser really quick. So to browse my drives, either my local hard drives or my network drives, and you do that by hitting the Windows and E key, which brings you to here. So I don't have any network connections here right now, but if I did, they would appear. To give you an example as well, while I'm here, if I plug in a USB drive, it'll just take a second, it'll get recognized, and it appears in the list here as well. This is one neat feature that I use all the time. The next useful one is the Windows R option. So if you hold down the Windows key and the R key, you get the run command line. So that's very useful if you want to do things like opening up a DOS box and or a DOS window, so you can actually do various commands for troubleshooting, etc. So it's a neat little feature. So that's basically the first short list of shortcuts that I wanted to talk to you about today. Thank you for watching my video, and once again, my name is Paul Hebert from Forecastle.ca. Please check back often for new videos, and if you have any feedback or comments, please send me an email through my website, and have yourself a great day.